Hello, everyone. It is me again. Haven't been particularly active in a while, and just trying to get myself back into the YouTube swing of things. And I did a auction haul and chat last week following the auction I went to last Saturday. Well, I went to another auction yesterday, and hey, figured I'd do another one. So this is going to be just another live chat, a little bit of a live haul, kind of unpacking. Not quite as many mysteries of what I bought. There's a couple though. There's one I want to get your guys' opinion of what exactly I bought. But I wanted to just kind of showcase some things. Going to be putting some stuff into my booth, prepping some things for my next live sale with Scott, the old Curiosity Shop. And I'll have a couple questions, just a couple things that I have as we try and figure out what exactly I bought. So thanks again for joining me. This is Patrick, Trusty Extra Mercantile. And I don't think the live chats will necessarily be a regular thing, but I did go ahead and schedule this one so that I will get done in time for Beth and Dolores to do their live chat, which is coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I will be done long before that, hopefully. I did get a pretty good haul at the auction yesterday, a couple of favorites, but not quite the vastness that I had the last haul. And I did not get any jewelry this time, and very minimal ephemera. I did get some ephemera, but not nearly as much as I did. This time I got a lot of linens. So I've got to figure out what I've got linen-wise. So those will definitely go into, hey, and there's Beth. So just talking about you. So Beth's live chat will be with Dolores at 2 p.m. Eastern. So you want to hop on to the Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. I think it's on Beth's channel, the Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties channel at 2 p.m. Eastern. I will definitely be done by then. And as I said, last time I had a lot of jewelry and kind of showed some of that. Do not have any. I don't think I've got any jewelry at all this time. There was some jewelry available, but this jewelry was, and yes, it is on the Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties channel. This jewelry that they had was all set in the case, and it ended up going for some pretty high dollar values. There's one guy that I recognize that goes to the auctions. He and I end up competing for some of the jewelry lots, but he is definitely more of a high-end jeweler. So he was buying the diamond rings. He was buying all the 14 and 18 karat gold pieces. There was one piece I would have liked to have gotten, and because of just the chaos of a typical auction, there was an opportunity. I could have probably been able to pick something up. I could have done a $5 choice. There was this little, it was probably like 2 inches long. It was a little charm. It had the piece to be the charm, but it looked like an 18th century firing arm. So like an 18th century pistol, maybe Regency era. I don't think it was that old. I think it was a replica of that style, but it was a fairly decent size, and it had like a movable trigger. Like it was actually pretty cool. And I wanted to get that, but it was in the same set of trays that the really expensive stuff was. And as he was going and he was competing with some other high-end bidders, at one point they ended up going straight to buying the rest of the tray. So like all the rest of the pieces were relatively inexpensive. So I missed my window to be able to start bidding at $5 just for that one item. No big loss. He ended up getting the rest of it. I don't know. He bought the tray for probably ended up only paying a couple dollars per piece. But the rest of the tray was like a lot of the 4-H charms and things like that, which I have plenty of those. So we got Lori and Robert from Back in the Day Finds are joining us. Hello. Jackie from Jacqueline's Heirlooms, Vintage and Collectibles. Good morning to you as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm not sure this will be a norm. I might start making a norm if I go to the auction. I might do this later. What was fun about this auction though, they usually only do one auction a month. This place that I showed last time, it was the same auction house, but this time they were on location at an estate. Oh, and I think I might actually have a picture. I posted on my Instagram, see if I can get it to come up. This was on location. It was actually closer to me than the auction house was, and it was a turn of the century farm. And they had like this whole preamble, which they don't normally have because this was one specific estate. Usually at the auction house, it's just like everyone brings stuff. This was obviously selling from this estate. And he made kind of a big deal that anyone is allowed to bid. And he actually like itemized family members, blah, blah, blah. And he then kind of broke and he's like, okay, because this was a bank oriented auction, I don't know if it's foreclosure, I'm not sure what this situation is. Nobody from the family had been allowed to come in and take anything out of the house. So everything from the house was now available through this sale. Now I find that a little hard to believe because like the day-to-day living stuff was not part of this auction. Like some of it was, but for the most part, like this would not have been a way to have a house. So I'm not sure if this was everything. I'm not sure what the deal was, but it just was a very different style, type of an auction, and had a very different turnout. There were people that had never been to an auction before. So they do like a really cool thing right before the auction starts. They do like an auction 101 where they actually like explain, this is how the bidding goes. These are how the lots are done. This is what choice means, some of that kind of stuff. So it was kind of fun to see them explaining it to newbies. And what was also kind of cool is I recognized some of the newbies ended up buying things. So I thought that was cool that they came to their very first auction. They got a little bit of a training. Hey, KP. Hey, Annette. Hey, Joan. They came to their first auction. They got the little training. And then they actually bought stuff. So that's, anybody can buy at auction. Oh, and actually something else that was weird at this one, or different. They had no buyer's premium. So I don't know what that was about. So I have no idea how the auction house was making its money. And they did not have sales tax. Now, I've got a reseller number, so I typically don't pay sales tax anyway. But even if you were buying this for your own, you did not pay sales tax. So I don't know. This was just a different type of auction. And the only one that I've ever seen them advertise that was actually on location at an estate. But what I'm trying to find is a picture of the estate. It was a very cool farmhouse. And here it is. So that was the home. The actual auction took place in the barns in the back. And there was a sign, and I want to get your guys' kind of input on this. There was a sign that specifically said it was Fisher Farm, established in 1900. To me, that house was older than 1900. So it's got the clear story on it. I think those are end of 19th century. Actually, no, this one does not have a clear story. Let's see how it do it. Can I zoom in on it? It does not have a clear story. It has a widow's walk. Okay. There is no reason to have a widow's walk in a farmhouse in the middle of Geneva, Illinois. So this is clearly representing. So that is what? Italianate, I want to say. Was that 1900? So I don't know if the house predates the farm and then the farm is what was 1900. So Beth's saying it may have been a bank foreclosure, which would be sad. But yeah, like for taxes not paid, someone pays the taxes and then they get everything. Okay. Well, and he had said that at the end, there was a lot more items left over. So like huge pieces of furniture were going for like 10 and 20 bucks. Like I really wanted this gentleman's chest. It was probably a 1880s, 1900, one of those big with the big mirror on it and the side panel and the drawers, very East Lake in design. It went for 25 bucks. And I'm like, I don't need it, but I want it. So if I had a way to get rid of it or haul it, I would have bought it. So some really cool country furniture. Those actually went for some really good prices. Like they had a really nice painted cupboard with the glass, and the glass was like that wavy old glass. That actually went for like $300 or $400. I mean, that was a pretty nice piece. But some of the bigger pieces of furniture, stools were going for. They had an entire set of. They looked a little small to be dining room chairs, but they probably were dining room chairs, like kitchen chairs, kitchenette chairs. The ones with the big, they weren't not really Windsor chairs, but the one with the big arched in the back and then the spindles down the middle. So kind of like Windsor style, but they were scaled down a little bit for kitchen size. The entire set of four matching chairs, $6. That's what the woman walked away with. I'm like, wait, what just happened? $6 for those? And they were probably like 1920s. I mean, they were in really good condition. I actually bought a stool. It's currently holding other things. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I actually bought a stool. And so some of the prices, they were like gate leg table went for $10. If I had a place for it, I would have bought it. I mean, it was a really nice, good condition piece. I just set up my 42-inch oak kitchen table. That's what I'm using now. It used to be my old dining room table, but I wanted a smaller one. They had another one that went for $20. And it was just as nice, if not nicer, than what I'm using. I'm like, okay, if I had a way to get rid of the other one, I'd buy this one. So it's like for people that were flipping furniture, it would have been a great opportunity. A friend of mine does do furniture, and she wasn't available. I kept texting her. I'm like, do you want me to bid on anything for you? But they had tons of smalls too, so tons of glass. So my favorite purchase, and hey, Karen, my favorite purchase, and it happened to be the very first thing I bought, but it was one of the things that caught my attention from the photographs. They did not photograph everything, but they did photograph some of the nicer pieces to get people to come in. And so this is, I believe, a tea caddy. Unfortunately, the interior, if they had caddies, the caddies themselves have been removed, but it has the lock. The escutcheon plate is missing, but the lock is still functional. There is still the mechanism is in there. So hopefully I've got some old keys. I'm going to see if I can find one that'll actually help, but it's got the painted interior. It has inlays in the corner. So those are wood. That's not brass. Those are actually wood inlays. Look at that detail. And then the wood grain, I need to take a class on wood, because let's see if I can do this. What is that? So it's definitely a hardwood, but it's smooth. So I don't think they're inlays. I think that's something to do with the wood. So I know when I did stuff with Katie and Vintage and Vinyl, she talked something called spaltings. Ooh, bird's eye maple. Is that what bird's eye maple is? I don't know. And so you can see, like, up close, you can see the darker wood grain is there on the corner. And then the top has this really detailed look to it. Not as much on the front, but there is some. And like I said, it's not inlaid. Like, it's all smooth, like, well, sort of the inlays, but like, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's been done that way. I think that's something to do with the wood. I would say yes. Now that you say that, I could see that being maple. Again, I'm not great on it, and I've heard of bird's eye maple, but I can't say I actually know what it looks like. I'll have to look at that. Thanks for saying that. But yes, it's a cool box. And now we're going to pop quiz. If anyone watched my video last week, you know how inexpensive some things go. How much do you think I paid for this box? So, and like kind of looking at it. So, and I also think, I don't think it's, I'd like to say it's 19th century. I don't think it's Regency because it just has a very simple shape. But with this, so I'd say it's probably turn of the 20th century, maybe getting into late 1800s, maybe early 1900s. It's not a stationary. Well, I mean, it could be a stationary box, but it does not have the slant front, so it's not a writing box. So you guys are not far off. I paid $17.50. So I was willing to pay up to $50 to get it, and $17.50. Everyone else dropped out. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. So that was the first thing I got. Carried that around for a while. Very happy. This I'm keeping. And yeah, absolutely, Beth. I love a good box. Like, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it could go. Tiger. Oh, hey, Scott. Tiger maple. Okay, so this is considered tiger oak. I'll have to look up tiger maple. I'm not sure what because I have heard of bird's eye, so I'm not sure what that would be considered. But it's got to be something. So when I did try and do some research on it and try to do the best I could for like Google Lens, and it wasn't really helping. There were some places that what kept popping up was what do they called it? Like painted grains. This is not painted. This is actually the grain of the wood. The painted ones, like, it got into like the grain started looking like feathers and stuff like that. So like, okay, that's not what this is. But it definitely, so it's like, it's not, I would say this wasn't the highest end box at the time, because even though that's very cool, it doesn't have a uniform design. So it's very random in its pattern, which I love. I mean, that to me makes it look real super cool. But if this was like a super expensive, nobleman's box or something, that this definitely would have had, that would have been book matched or something so that it looked very symmetrical. Also, doing some research, it does have a leather handle, which I think is original because I don't see anything from the inside that shows that there's another. A lot of the older ones had wood handles built into them. So the leather maybe that's what pushes it into early 20th century, but I don't know how popular these boxes were then. So that was one of my favorite purchases. Oh, hey, Cindy. Mimi's Treasure Cottage has joined us. Frida has joined us. Hello. Ooh, myrtle wood. I don't know if I would know what myrtle wood look like. Okay. Since I've got some people on here, including Scott, we've got, they don't all match. All right. Well, that's disappointing. You need to pay better attention. All right. But that's not the point. My question is, okay, how do I get these out? Come on. We can do this. I've got glass. All right. Oh, yeah, these don't match at all. Okay, I just didn't pull them up. What is this size glass for? Are we dealing with port or are we dealing with sherry? Is there a difference? What are the small glasses for? So I've got this box. I don't think the box has anything to do, but that's the size of the box. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... maybe 11, maybe more. There's a couple layers in here. And I thought they were all one design, but they're obviously two different designs. But with this small size, I've been at a friend's house and they were bemoaning the fact they did not have port glasses. And I did not know exactly what a port glass was. And so I found these, and then they were referring to them, when we sold them, they were referring to them as sherry. So I do not know. And now there's two different sizes. I mean, bowl size, they're about the same. So this one obviously is stemmed, but about how much liquid they would hold, probably about the same. So they probably were for the same purpose. The taller stem is sherry. Ooh, taller stem is sherry, according to Joan. Taller stem is sherry, shorter is port. Okay, but their bowls are about the same size. So I didn't know if that's what dictated it. If one was stronger, you'd have a smaller bowl. So if it's on the internet, it must be true. Thank you, Joan. So that'll give me something to research so that maybe the stem is what dictates the type of glass. But anyway, these will probably end up going to a friend as a gift. I have no particular need for them. They entertain all the time. I met them through my boyfriend, and they've had me over to their house, I think 3 or 4 times for dinners. So last time I took them a set of linen napkins, and now this might be their next gift. Disappointing though, I thought they all matched, because when I pulled them out, what I initially pulled, I was pulling all of these just like randomly when I was checking to see the condition, and I was feeling the tops, and they all seemed fine. And the entire box was $5, so could not go wrong with it. I know that clear glass isn't always the most collectible, but particularly as a gift, it's the one that's most universal because it doesn't have to match anything. So maybe I'll split that up. I already gave them a set of napkins, but this was also in one of the lots of linens that I got. A lot of linens and fabrics. This is a set of 12 damask napkins. A couple of them have superficial staining, I think, from storage. So hopefully those would come out. So I'll probably sell those as a set. Those might just end up in my booth, inexpensively tied together. Okay, here's one of the questions. What the hell is this? So I did buy two lots of fabric. This was folded up in the middle of one of them. I did not even see it when I bought the lot. It looks like a rain hat, but it's massive. I have a pretty big head, and this puppy doesn't. It's got elastic. There's no way for this thing to sit any higher on my head. I think it's homemade. because they did a very ingenious, they gathered all the fabric and then tied it in the middle. And then they found this plastic, plastic fabric. They sell it. And then they covered it up. You can see the plastic goes all the way into the middle. So technically, I'm like, is this watertight? Because I could see this leaking. And then they stitched this elastic all the way around. They stitched right through the outside. I mean, this is like makeshift stuff. I'm assuming it's a rain hat, but could it be something else? Like, would it be to cover a plant? Like, I have no idea. Like, this is just goofy as all get out. So this is probably heading to Goodwill. But I thought that was pretty funny. So that was one of the odd, but the thing that attracted me to a couple of the lots, they still had the boxed linens. So just check out some of these. So, I love selling these embroidered linens. So these are all folded up, still in their original box. I didn't even unfold them. I said, maybe this might be a pillowcase. Is it a pillowcase? Yes. So this is actually a pair of pillowcases. So we've got this beautiful, open it up. Beautiful stitch work. It's a very simple design, but the fact that they're in this box. Yeah, and looking at the back, these are machine done. Yeah, there's no way that was done by hand. So these are machine. So there's a pair of them. Let's see, does the box say anything? So these will probably show up on my next sale with Scott. My Unbreakable sale, which is coming up in a week or so. Oh, there's something on here. Oh, this is the gift shop that sold them. Little Traveler. It still exists in Geneva, Illinois. What size are they? Good question. I did have the wherewithal to pull out my tape measure. They're not king. If they're anything, they're standard. So let's see. 21 by, I think 27 is a standard pillow, by like 29 and a half to the fabric end, not including the decorative trim. So I would say these are standard pillow. And contemporary standards. I mean, I don't think these are contemporary pieces because I don't think people do that anymore. But they're absolutely fantastic condition. And I don't sell, honestly, I don't think I've sold pillowcases much. But hopefully there's a market for those. This was the one that I really wanted. This one. Check that out. Again, definitely done by machine. I don't care. And actually, now I look at these are pillowcases as well. But it's got that cut work design on it. It's like, I don't know if it's supposed to be a basket of flowers. It's got a little bit of a blue hint to them. They do have made in China, but it's an old made in China tag. So this is a pair of pillowcases. So again, standard size, both of the same design. So that one I thought was super attractive. Admittedly, I thought it was a pillowcase, or I'm sorry, I thought it was a tablecloth, but that's okay. I paid more than I have for some of the others, but these were huge lots. But I still, per piece, we did not pay a ton of money. And then these were stored with the tissue paper in them, so you could see that cut work design. So these are also pillowcases. Tissue's already torn, so I'll just go ahead and slide that out. Check that out. I would hate to sleep on that, so I'm assuming that these are ones you would use as like your decorative pillows, because you would see the pillow. So like, that would be a case where, like, if you put a liner or something on the insert pillow, like if you did a pink liner or something, like they use the pink tissue paper, you would see that color peeking through. I would say yes, they are all cotton. This one's definitely like a percale. They're not linen, and I don't think, let's see. I'll look to see if they have a tag, but I think they predate the care tags. Yeah, these do not have tags. Let's see if the box says anything. All three of these have their own boxes. What's this one? PM blouse featuring Bobby Sue Fashions. Maybe that's the store that I've not heard of. PM blouse is also here on the end, and then it looks like it was the pattern number 921. So these would have been stacked, in the back, but never used. Maybe got them as a gift, wedding gift, something like that. So those three were peeking out on top. And then there was contemporary towels and stuff. These will just go to Goodwill. I mean, this one, no, those are Christmas, but these are all contemporary. And that's the thing with it being a estate closeout. Some of the stuff was contemporary. Another Christmas towel. Looks like more napkins. Oh wait, what are these? Oh yeah. Oh, these are initialed or monogrammed. What is that? H? I think it's an H. H or a K? H. Which is interesting because or is it an M? No. All right. Survey says just must be a weird way to cross the H. Because I thought, is that dip an M, but I can't imagine that's an M. So it must just be an H. But the family's name was Fisher. So don't know where the H came from. So a stack of embroidered, monogrammed napkins, more towels. Okay, but there were a couple of things peeking out. Yeah, this one was a table. This was a table topper. Check that out. Isn't that cute? Oh, is that called French embroidery? Okay. So this one has a nice border all the way around. And this is a smaller size. This is probably like card table size, maybe 36. Guessing. Let me check. Oh, not even. 30, looks like 31. 31 by 31. Yes, a lot of the linens will end up at the Unbreakable sale. So that was a nice pickup. More. These people either just kept getting them as gifts or they entertained a lot because we've got more napkins. Modern pillowcase. That'll go to Goodwill. What's this? Looks like this is a modern, like one of those little square pillows. So that'll go to Goodwill. I did have part of the lots. I don't know if it was that one or not, but part of those lots had a stack of like actual sewing fabric in there as well. So those I'm going to offer to a friend of mine who does quilting, see if he wants it. And if he doesn't, that'll just all go to Goodwill too, because I'm not going to get into that. This one, the other table topper, unfortunately, there's some pretty heavy duty staining on this one. So hopefully I can try and see if I can soak that out. They look like storage stains or something, like food stains that didn't get washed out before it went into storage and they just kind of got worse. So really nice stitch work around the edges, but unfortunately, condition wise, we got a problem. This one is another table topper. I was going to say, I knew that I was buying one of them had tons of table toppers. Look at that. The corner. Now this is linen. So just check that out. And this one I would say is done by hand because they wasted a lot of fabric stitching, carrying those stitches. They wasted a lot of thread. And I don't think a machine would do that. So wouldn't swear to this one because there's some pieces of it that look really nicely done, but I think this one's done by hand. So you've got that on all four corners. This looks a little bit bigger. but still small. So like this is nice if you have a bigger size dining room table. This can just sit in the middle of it, so not necessarily the entire. So this one's 32, about the same as the other one. Really nice blue stitching on the hem. Nothing in the middle, so you can put your centerpiece on there without blocking. Some of the times you got this beautiful design in the middle, and then you put your floral centerpiece on and you lose it. This one is a table runner. Check that out. Love these cut work pieces, and they're usually in really crappy condition. And unfortunately, it does look like this one has some tears in it where it was folded. So that's going to hurt a little bit in the value, but overall, it's actually in really good shape. It looks like it's only that one section that has some damage to it. The rest of it's like that would be the case if you use this on a buffet or something. You could put that to the back. I hate when people say that, but it's not like you rip the head off of a porcelain figurine and you're just putting it to the back. Because I don't know how you would repair that. So that's unfortunate, but it's really nice. Again, this is also linen, but look at that cut work. And this is a decent size. This has some pretty good length to it. Let's see. This one is. So KP saying she used to do embroidery. Yeah, it does. Ambition, patience. I mean, a lot of it can be done now with machines. This is 70 inches long. So this is pretty long. This is a pretty sizable piece. So this is probably designed for a buffet or for a dining room table. This would not be. This is a little big for a dresser scarf. So I really liked that one. This one, not as much detail and a little bit smaller. But again, linen with some nice stitch work done on the edges. This one. So this, okay. Oh, this is interesting. All right. So I assumed this was a tablecloth. Like, again, I didn't pull everything out. I just kind of like peeked through it, but I could tell by things that were folded. An iron-on patch could cover that. You're right. This is only appliqued in this corner. So I don't know if this is still that French embroidery that you mentioned, Joan. It's dimensional. So you can kind of, I don't know if you can see, it's puffy. So there's a lot of thread in there. So it's not trapunto. It's not stuffed. It's just a lot of thread to make it very dimensional, but it's only on the one corner. So would this still have been, I mean, based on its size, it has to be a tablecloth, but I've never seen a tablecloth only embroidered on one corner. Why would you have that? I was just reading Jackie's comment. Can you wrap your bought products or add them to your box as a nice gift for a customer? For the ones that are in good condition, that would be a bad idea, but I would never want to pass on something that's damaged unless somebody actually asks. Hi, Kim. So I'd be curious about this one. If you guys have seen something like that, and then how this would be used. So it's square, and again, it's fairly large. So it's not a handkerchief. And I would say it's also too large to based on the fact it's linen, I don't think it's a headscarf. It is. Come on, I can do this. This one is 39 inches. So this is already 39 across. So this would, pretty much the smallest dining room table you're going to probably have is 40 inches. So yeah, this would not have been a full-fledged tablecloth. So you're right. This could just be the cloth that sits on top of the table, like you said, like Beth's calling it the crumb catcher. But still, why would you only have one corner? Like your guest gets the pretty end and everyone else gets the crappy corners. Like that just, to me, it's just an odd design choice. So I've never noticed that. I've never seen that before. I've seen it where it's like two opposite corners, sometimes depending on how it's going to be used. But yeah, just one corner. That's kind of odd. It's really pretty. It's just an odd way of using it. And then I got some of their more casual ones. Like this, I think was handmade just based on the way the hem is stitched on these. And now that I'm saying that, here's another one that's only designed in the corner. Now this one's done by hand. Okay, so this could be, they did one and said, I'm done. I'm not doing another one. And let's see, if you drape this over the edge, it looks like the basket is dumping out the strawberries, I guess. Oh, for a sofa table hung on the diagonal. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That would have been the only piece. Okay, so it's not really more for a dining room. It could be more like okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Mr. Jotitown. Perfect. That makes, because I'm sitting here like, wait, and now here's another one. So this one, although I could totally see abandoning it, going, yeah, it's fine. I would say it's a little heavy for a scarf. This one is getting into that heavy cotton again. I would say no. I would say that these are not, and the other one's just way too, I would say way too big to be a scarf. I like the that hanging it down so that you do only see that one. This one, I'm hoping I can stain this out, or not stain it out, soak it out, because like I saw the stain, but I don't get tablecloths like this very often. These are those printed ones. Scott has these all the time, and I just don't ever come across them. But isn't that pretty? Like I could totally see this in a contemporary, cottage core type thing, but and you could tell it was folded, and it looks like however it was folded, like that corner was on the floor or something, and it absorbed some stainage. Because it's actually in pretty good shape other than that. So I just need to see if I can soak that corner out. So I thought that was really pretty. Another stitched one. This one is like, I'm sure there's a name for it. It's like a really, really lightweight, almost like a terry cloth. I don't know if you can see, there's kind of like the way the fabric is on that. Like there's some thickness to this. So it's not quite terry cloth, but it's like, that's kind of what it reminds me of, just really thin. But just check that out. Really pretty. And then the rickrack on the edges. So the rickrack's definitely handmade. Based on the knots, I would say the stitch is handmade as well, but they did a pretty nice job cleaning that up. Like that's the back. They did a pretty good job. But those knots are really chunky. So I think that those are handmade as well. Baking soda, peroxide, and Dawn dish soap into a paste and apply to stain. Okay, excellent. So this one has the design on all four corners. So I thought that was really pretty. So this one has a little bit of discoloration where it was folded. So I think all of these could probably use a good soak. This one, yeah, this must have been in the same pile that absorbed some, but this just appears to be a plain. Oh, wait, nope, there's something on here. Ooh, this is pretty. I didn't see this. This is only, so somebody who's super adventurous could cut this down because the stitching is see-through. So they did something where they replaced the fabric. So you've got the organza in the middle. There's only 4 pieces stitched, but look how far away they are from the edges. So it's like these were designed to let the tablecloth drape, and then the design would be on the top of the table. Unfortunately, the staining goes along down the whole seam, where it was not seam, the whole fold. So again, that's the problem with linens. They get stored, and if they're not stored properly, what starts as something you don't even notice becomes very obvious. There's a little one. So this again, this would be like a table topper. This one's in pretty good shape. Really cute floral stitch work with the little crocheted edge on that one. That's linen. That's a really nice, and that's little. Like that definitely would be just either for, that could even be like for a side table, because this one's only 19 inches across. So that could be like a little end table or nightstand, draped over the sides. That's really pretty. Ooh, this one's got some great, God, it's got to be machine done. Yeah, this machine done. Like there's no way. Check that out. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's a runner. Again, it's got a little discoloration at the fold. Beautifully done though. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Down with a crocheted edge to that one. This one, another topper. This is an applique, actually. So you've got a pink applique. Based on the back, I'm going to say this is machine done as well. It's too cleanly done where the applique went in. Nice design on the two ends. I do too, Cindy. Vintage linens, they're fun to sell. They're fun. Like I can't use them. I mean, I do have. Oops, my pile's tipping over. I don't know if I can show it. See if I can fold it up enough to see it. That's the tablecloth that's currently on my dining room table that I'm using right now. It's kind of got some browns in it. It's got that cut work star flower in the middle. It's got a scalloped edge, and it came with matching napkins. So that's what's sitting on my that's what's on my table now. It's a 42-inch round. I think the tablecloth was like a 50-inch round. So excuse me. So it's got a nice drape to it. Excuse me. And that was one I picked up in a box lot. And I'm like, you know what? Keeping that one. So I just started to show one more. I think this was the last one. So this one, look at the detail of the scallop on the edge on that one. They put some nice detail in that one. I would say this one is also machine done. Very nice though. Also on linen. So again, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of linens. So at some point I will probably, what I might do is, I don't know. What do you guys think? What I might do, like on one of Scott's sales, for me to sell all of these individually it'll take me forever. Like I only sell 10, 15 items on Scott's sale. I've shown you more than 10 items here. Is I might group some of them together, like maybe group all the pillowcases together. If somebody collects embroidered pillowcases, maybe you want 3 sets of embroidered pillowcases. So I might do something like that just to be able to go through them faster. But we shall see. You know, it all kind of depends. Linens, I do not like putting linens in my booth. I don't know for you guys that have booths. I don't know how you guys do, but like every time I visit a booth, or even when I go to my own mall and look at the other booths, anytime there's somebody with linens, it's not malicious, but people go in, they unfold the linen, see what they are, and then they like, and they just like wad it back up and just toss it into the shelf. And so it always looks like crap. Like I've tried it a couple of times where I put them in little Ziploc baggies. Okay, best case scenario, they might like wad it up and shove it back in the baggie, but then they don't lay flat. I just don't like. And when you get into the delicate ones, I'm afraid they're always going to get damaged. So the linens, I like to be able to sell online, because then if I do show, like say I can't get the stains out, or if let's be realistic, some of these I'm probably not going to have time to try and get the stains out. I can sell them saying, look, here's what it looks like. I'm going to show you the details. Like I'm not hiding anything. If you are a wizard at the OxyClean or whatever the options are, hey, if you get it, hopefully you get it as a good price. I probably get more if I clean them out, but I paid a good price for the stack. My point at this point is I need to flip them. I need to get rid of them. And I'm considering doing like a reseller sale where stuff that I have multiples of, I just say, here, you know what? I'll just make you a really good deal. So like, hopefully and people have bought stuff from me and they're very open about it. And I have no issue with this. There are many people that have bought things from me that then they end up flipping themselves, that they feel my prices are good enough that they can go ahead and make money. Knock yourself out. Trust me, I'm making money off of my initial sale. And there are 2 schools of thought. Well, kind of different ways of looking at it. There's the the slow dime or the 2 quick nickels. I'm very much the quick nickels guy. I would rather sell everything a lot faster for maybe a little bit less to get it out of my hands so I make that money to make something else. Or there are some resellers, there's nothing wrong with it, but there are some resellers say, no, it is worth a nickel, it was worth a dime. I am holding on to this until I find somebody willing to pay me a dime. Well, I've done that on some other things. And just the other day, what was I doing? Just the other day, I was looking at something. I was trying to find something in my storage where all my eBay is stored, and something that went into storage in perfect condition was now, it was a piece of ephemera. It is now torn. My fault. It's all me. I know when I bought it, it was in perfect condition, but somehow something got set on it. And I think that's what it was. It was, I was in between two things, and the way it got set on it, it got torn. I don't want to store things forever. Like, yes, maybe it's worth 10 cents. If I can sell it for $5, maybe I only paid $2. I'm still making money. You guys could get a good deal, or you can sell it on to somebody else. You want to wait for that dime? Knock yourself out. I don't have time. So if I find stuff like this, if I just try to hold on to everything and get what it's worth, I'd have this stuff forever. So happy to pass it along. And there, exactly, KB, know what your time is worth. And I don't necessarily want to be a race to the bottom. I don't want to be known as like the cheap guy, or like, because if anyone bought from me, first of all, if it has any damage, I'm going to tell you. And second of all, I rarely sell stuff that is damaged. Like, it's things like this, it's because I got it in a box a lot. But, I'm going to be very upfront with it. Yeah, if you're getting it from me, it's because it's a damn good piece. Let's see. This I got for free, so I get to play a game. This was at the end of the sale, and it was something, again, it was something because maybe it was a foreclosure or something like that. They ended up selling a box, or I'm sorry, not a box, a table filled with boxes of books and games to one guy for $5. And the guy's like, I don't want all of these. Like, I just want like a handful of things. And they're like, well, just leave everything else behind, which they don't usually let you do at the actual auction house, because they made a comment. They said that anything that doesn't sell, the bank or whoever is going to have to pay a clearinghouse to come in and take everything. So they didn't care. They're like, if you wanted to leave stuff behind, leave stuff behind. So I left some stuff in some of the boxes I bought. I'm like, hey, maybe somebody else wants something. This was something he left behind. I'm like, you know what? I was interested in it. I love old games. It's a 2-player game. So, check my channel. Maybe at some point I'll get Raj to play this with me, and we'll videotape it. And we've got a 2-person game. I'd never heard of it. 1962, and by the 3M company. And it was, bookshelf game. So the idea is I guess they made a whole series of these games that looked like books. And so when you line them up, you've got the game. So Twixt, I'd never heard of it. So we are going to play that. Funny, I apologize, whoever said it before. There you go, Scott, the 20 trash bags of Barbie clothing. Like, at some point, and that's the other thing I've started doing with some of the jewelry. FYI, so if Beth's still here, there is another drop sale coming up this Thursday. I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm hosting it this month. Beth and I alternate. So this is my month. I'm trying to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to do the traditional drop sale. It's a lot smaller. There's only 4 of us participating. And then after the drop sale, we're turning it into a live sale. And we are going to be able to pitch what we had in our drop sale videos. Anything that hasn't sold yet, we're going to try and hawk in the live video. And what I will be doing is the video, all of the jewelry that I showed last week when I got at the auction house the last time. I got that stuff so ludicrously inexpensive. I made my money back by selling a couple of pieces that I knew had some value to them. So everything else I'm going to put into mixed lots. So you're going to get like 4 or 5 necklaces for probably $10. So I'm just going to try and get through on volume, because if I try and sell every necklace individually, I have at least 50 or 60 necklaces in that lot. And I have another 20 or 30 bracelets. So I'm going to be making these like mixed lots of just super inexpensive. So watch my video. It starts this coming Thursday, the 22nd, I think. 6 p.m. will be Beth's drop sale video. And then Vintage Vinny and Dee from Thrill of the Thrift, they have videos. My video will drop at 7:30 Eastern. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will go live, at least with Beth and myself. We've invited Dee and Vinny, and I don't think they're going to be available for the live portion of it. it was kind of a last minute thing, so they may not be able to join us. But we said we'd pull up their videos and we try and hawk some of their stuff too. So we'll see. So anyway, that's what I want to do. Is like I'm making the money, and then if some of that jewelry doesn't sell, going to Goodwill. I don't need to hold on to it forever because I've already made the money. You know, I've invested, resold everything, made a bunch of money on it. You know what? I can keep trying to like milk profit, but it takes time. You know, if it's only a $5 necklace, that takes time to list on eBay. I'd rather sell the $50 items on eBay. So it's all what's your time worth? But anyway, whoever said something about before about using it, I think it was Jackie, about using it to package things. That's what these all were. So this was also in one of the lots. I think this is this square, or is this round? But I had taken it out of the lot to be able to wrap up some of the stuff that I bought to carry it out. So this will be in one. This is actually in fantastic condition. That's it, KP, fast flip. So this is in wonderful condition, and this is a decent size. This would also, well, if you have a really pretty wood grain table, this would look really nice on it because it would show the wood through it. But this would also be good for a colored tablecloth, you know, a nice bright color that would show through. And this is probably 40. Let's see. No, a little bit bigger, 45. So this is a decent size. But that great knit crochet lace work. So that was in one of the fabric lots, but it was, oh, and so was this one. This one I think is a runner. Yeah, this one's a little bit smaller. Also got some staining issues on it. But this one I'm less concerned about soaking because it's all white. I get very leery about soaking the ones that have the dyed fabrics. So I did get some ephemera, Campfire Girls and Aunt Madge. So the Campfire Girls, if I remember correctly, Campfire Girls were the British version of the Girl Scouts. Am I correct? Maybe not, because this book was published in the same place that did the Little Golden Books. So maybe I'm wrong. I thought the Campfire Girls were the British ones. So anyway, this does not have a copyright, interestingly enough. Anyway, pick that. That was in a lot of some stuff. I've had some success selling ribbons. So there happened to be a first, a second, and a third place ribbon in one of the lots. This one does not, there are no years on this one. They're not filled out on the back. So I don't know how old these are. They may not be particularly old, but they're local for my booth. So they're local. So, oh, these were in the box. These very nice, there's two of them. These very nice, these might go into my booth because I'm less worried about these. But look, they're paper, super, super fancy paper napkins with the cutout design. So very, very, very cool. So those were, they don't have a zip code. So these might be prior to 1960s. Devon Grace is the name on those. So there's two boxes, full boxes of those. Oh, this I got. I do have a thing for vintage games. I don't know how old it is, but the game board, I got that for free. That was also in one of the boxes somebody left behind. I'm like, I'll take that. I finally put together my game room. I will try and do a video with it because I hung a bunch of vintage game boards up on the wall. And I promised Beth and Dolores that we were going to play a couple of the vintage games together. So we're going to try and do an online vintage game. Some Christmas books. This one I was really excited about. I'm not sure how to sell it because there's two of these. One of them, it's got the same envelope. It's got the cool envelope on it. Here's the book. One of them is open. This one is sealed. So I don't know what to do because I don't want to put this in my booth. Someone's going to rip it open. You know they are. So the fact that I know what it is, so these might end up going into a live sale, like the unopened one versus the opened one. I'm not sure how to do it or just sell them as a pair. But it is a child's Christmas cookbook. I don't think it's super old, maybe 60s, 70s. Let me see if I can find a copyright. 64. So, oh, it's from the Denver Art Museum. Oh, that's interesting. 60, and this one's actually from 67. It was copyright 64, but this was the third printing. This is 1967. And I think that's the same artwork from A Child's Christmas in Wales, I think is what this is based on. Published in conjunction with the exhibition Once Upon a Christmas at the Denver Art Museum, exhibition and the cookbook are dedicated to the warm, nostalgic memory of an old-fashioned Victorian Christmas. So some cool artwork in there, plus the cookbook. So it's like, this would make a fantastic gift, and you would know what it is. But if I try and sell this in my booth, unless I have the one next to it to compare, it's going to get ripped open. So I've got to figure out what to do with that. I might do, I did a couple things for Christmas in July, but I didn't really do anything crazy about it. But I might do a Christmas sale, because there actually a whole, one of the lots I bought was all Christmas stuff. So the Santa Claus book, kind of rough shape, but some very cool artwork inside. Oh, you think I should sell it in my sale with Scott? Okay. Some very cool artwork with this that it's just, you know what, it's not great condition. So I might put not the cookbook ones because of that sealed one, but some of these, I have some other Christmas books. I might put them together into a Christmas lot and just sell like a Christmas ephemera lot or Christmas book lot. Treasury of Christmas Stories. This is from 1960, but it's the fifth printing, so 1963. So some cool graphics on it. Ooh, Scholastic Book Services. Who remembers the Scholastic Fair, the book fair? I love the Scholastic Fair. A Piano by Christmas. Oh, there's some artwork. There's some nice illustrations in here too. So that, a Fred Waring music workbook, a Christmas singing bee. So again, there's just like weird, random Christmas stuff, Christmas ephemera stuff. So that I'll probably sell in one of Scott's sale. I don't know if we're going to dedicate one specifically to Christmas, but if I might pepper those in coming up in the next couple of months for the fall. Does Scholastic still have book fairs, Beth? I guess my daughter did, but she's 25. So that's good. I'm glad that they still do them. That was fun. An absolutely pristine old-fashioned photo book that's never been used. So it's the big black pages. So you've got do the corner things. I don't know necessarily how old this one might be. It might be a reproduction, but it's super cool. I got some signs, which I don't normally do. This one came with a lot. That's actually reproduction, but you know, I live near a farmer community. No trespassing, member of the Prairie Farmer Protective Union. So I'm kind of counting on my farmer community. This is much worse condition than I would normally want. It's, you know, severely rusted, but it just shows that it's got some age to it. But here's like something that most people don't know unless you've actually ordered from me and seen it. That's my last name. I'm not related to the McCormick Deering. I'm not related to that Deering, but that is my last name. So I'm always intrigued by McCormick Deering Farmall equipment because, you know, in another life, I could have been that family tree and I've been a different Deering. But anyway, so I always like to see that. So I picked that up. This was like a weird, this came in a box lot. An old box of tennis table balls built for action. I don't know if there's any way to age these, but I mean, I would say these are probably from the 60s or 70s. And I might do like one of Scott's sales. I might just sell I just have some vintage games and cards and things. I might do it again. And this, like, I might do it with Scott, but then I might also do as dedicated, like I mentioned before, like do like a reseller sale where I just say, okay, here's like 5 or 6 games, inexpensive lot, and then see if anyone wants them for themselves. Great. If you want them to be able to resell them, maybe you've got a better market to sell table tennis balls. You know, it's like for me to sell that in my booth, the balls are going to get thrown around. The box is going to fall apart, you know, that kind of thing. I'd much rather it go in the right hands or in the hands of somebody who can give it more time. Like I have a full-time gig. Like this is all stuff I'm trying to do in my spare time and have a dating life. So, it's like, I've got to be realistic of what I can do. This I almost left behind because it came in a box lot. And again, I didn't even know who this was. Luckily it told me who it was. But I did a quick Google search or eBay search and turned out they do sell for like 10, 15 bucks. So you know what? They're easy. They sell fairly regularly. So I can easily list that. And mine has a box. Most of them don't. So, hey, I'll sell it. This was fun. I'm probably going to keep this, but it's possible. What the hell goes on in your booth, Patrick? They're terrors. They're absolute terrors. Cool card box. So I've got, these sets of cards, not particularly meaningful, but I've got tons of cards. So I might replace these out. There's like a little pencil holder in there too. I'm not sure how old those are. I mean, I'm assuming the cards are somewhat old. Well, there's a zip code on them. So, maybe from the 70s, maybe from the 80s. I don't know. But I just thought that was kind of cool. So I thought, like I said, I just set up a game room. I thought that would look cool sitting on the shelf in my game room. This, actually, you guys can tell me. So made in Western Germany. It's a Christmas decoration. Unfortunately, I need to repair it. What is this called? Whew. And I want to say Advent. Is it just an Advent wreath? Advent, or is it not? No, Advent calendar. No. This is something to do with Advent, isn't it? Isn't it like the 4 weeks of Advent? You light a calendar for each one. So I need to repair the little candle holder, but you can see this is what happens in the Midwest when you store your candles in the attic for during the summer. They become little curvy candles. It's like they're blown in the wind. So unfortunately I need to make a little repair, but that's a minor repair. And the candles probably need to be remelted in the other direction or replaced. Looks like they've never been burned, but I couldn't remember what it was called, but I'm like, that's cool. And it says, Western Germany, so it's got some age to it. And I thought it was cute, but I wasn't sure what it was. Scott has some wonky candles too. And I also liked it came in its original box that says right on there it was made in Western Germany. So okay, well, it's before the 80s. All right, so that was that. This was holding. This I think is contemporary. I don't think that might be a tape. That might be a what do you call it? Placemat. A little big for placemat, but again, it's like one design in the corner. So I'm not sure. It might be a doily, but I'm pretty sure that's contemporary. So use that. That was wedged in between all those things. So when I carried them out of the auction house, I could carry them in my bag. Then we got again. This is all part of the those fabric lots that I bought. A massive, now we're getting into full-fledged tablecloth. I'm going to measure this puppy. It's big. So the problem with, and this is I would say this is more contemporary, and this is acrylic, but it's got a great look to it. I see a stain, so I have to be careful about that. But let's see, width-wise, see, I can measure that. And I think I've got 2 of these. Now, why you would need 2 of them, I do not know. So this is 66 across. Let's see what I can do lengthwise. Yikers. $66 by $88. So pretty decent size, one of those. And then there's another one, and I want to say the other one of them had a tag. Tag must have fallen between something. So I've got 2 of those. Hope maybe one's in better condition than the other. I don't do Majolica very often, but I was attracted to this. I might keep this. I'm not sure. I just like the colors in it. So I got to figure out what to do with that. $5. So got him. Oh, this one I specifically bought. This was one where the lot had a bunch of other weird stuff in it, and I just left it all behind because this was the only thing I wanted. So I think I paid $7 for this. I don't have an ice bucket, and now I do. And it looks like a biscuit jar with the lovely wicker and everything on the rattan, but it's the size of an ice bucket. And whether it's an ice bucket or not, I don't care. I'm going to use it as an ice bucket. Made in Japan. It's got the mark on there. It's in great condition. Still has the lid. And you know what? I have people over making them drinks. I think having some ice available here, it'll look pretty cool. So that's for me. And let's see. Oh, wait. Is this? Yes. Here was the sheet that fell off. No iron permanent press soil release. 90% cotton, 10% polyester. A product of Quaker Lace Company. So that was the card that went on that. Oh, those 2 tablecloths. So that, okay. So then this was in there. Another table runner. This was in there. These were all wrapped around the ice bucket. So this one, I would say, is a dresser scarf because there's no decoration on the back. The fringe is only on the edges and the front. So it's either a fireplace mantle scarf or a dresser scarf. And I would say based on that depth, it's got to be for a dresser. That would be a really deep ass mantle. But because just like the thing we were talking about with the corner being decorated, if you're only going to put this on your dresser is 99.9% of the time, your dresser's up against a wall. You don't need to fringe the back. So, and that's in really good shape. Little one. This one's like got a little pink tinge in the like accents to it. Doily. Most of these are doilies. Oh, this was a bigger doily. Check that out. This one's like almost like a golden color. I don't think this is like super old. Like it's probably 80s or 90s, but nice size. Again, would look fantastic on a little side table. This one has the crocheted center. And then the network like this one. Got to find something circular to hang that on because you can't even see the design. Little doilies. One time we had somebody ask, when we asked, Scott and I asked, like, what are people looking for? Doilies was one that came up. So I now will have another set of doilies. These will definitely be at one of Scott's sales. This one still has a price tag on it from Colson's. I've never heard of Colson's, so I don't think that's local, or if it was, it's something that doesn't exist anymore. So that one, that's actually kind of cool. That one has, there are several of those. It's a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why would you need 5 of these? Oh, more than one has a tag. They're a little big for coasters. I'll sell those as a set, though, I would assume. Just keep them together. And then this might be the last. No, I got to see what's in that big roaster thing. Another crocheted one. This is a little bit heavier. So lots of, try to do more in table runners, but let's be honest. I got what I could get because they were mixed lots. These will go in my booth. If somebody wants to remind me what they're called, that one's broken. Okay, we're getting rid of that one. but I think there's 12 in there, so we don't have a full set anymore. What are these called? First of all, what's the type? Is it a Collins glass, Tom Collins glass? So that's my one question. And then who made these? There's a specific company. Was it Libby or somebody? I need to figure out what this pattern is, but I got a bunch of them. I'll get rid of all the damaged ones. Who knows? I may have damaged it. God knows, because I kind of packaged them together, but it doesn't mean I packaged them well. Let's see. Can I lift this? I bought furniture. Got this stool, this like metal stool. It weighs a ton. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. It might go on the front porch because it's all metal. But I got it for $5, so I couldn't pass it up. Okay, then this, I'm almost done. I think I'm pretty much out of stacks. I cannot lift this from a distance. Why did I set this here? Okay, well, here's the top piece of it. I don't normally get cookware, but Raj likes to cook. So I said I got this for him and he can experiment. So this is the top piece of it. Because when I picked it up, I didn't know what I was buying. This is the middle piece of it. And this is the bottom piece of it. God, this weighs a ton. So it's like a 3-stack roaster thing. So what's neat about it is it has all the pieces. So this sits in the bottom and the handles go up through the middle section, which also has one of those bases with the holes in it. And so I asked him about it. And he said, well, what you would do is you'd put the meat or the chicken or whatever in the top level. And then as it cooks, you'd have your vegetables and your potatoes in the bottom level. The drippings from the bird would fall onto the vegetables and the potatoes. So you got that kind of marinade, like whatever. And then you lift the handles and all of them come out together. Okay, well, he's going to have to prove that to me. Oh, no, hey, Urban's Antiques. There's nothing late. This was just, again, a spontaneous live. So that's actually for Raj. We'll see if I end up keeping it. I did find them online. They've sold recently $35, $45. I paid $5, so it's like, and it's all the pieces are there. The one that sold for $45 didn't even have the bottom roasting piece in it. So hey, these, I'll probably put these in my booth. Kind of the little quirky children's room decor, the little woolly sheep. I think they're sheep, maybe. I have 3 of those. I wouldn't have picked them up specifically, but they were, again, part of a box lot. So I got that. This I almost left in the place to give away, but it is 1990. So it's old enough that I can actually sell it in my booth. I'm not sure I like it, but J. Dubin Designs. So I'll put it in my, one of the other things I'm starting to do is I'll put some stuff in my booth. If it doesn't sell, like I give it a month. If it doesn't sell, it just goes out, goes straight to Goodwill. Like the last bag, everything that went to Goodwill had price tags on everything. I'm not proud. I don't even take my price tags off. I got to figure out what this is. I was intrigued. It's some sort of a game. I'm not sure. It was like in a little mailing envelope. I have no idea what this is. So, yeah. A game. This was with it, but I'm not sure if this is related, but they kind of look like those shapes. So I think this has something to do with this. So experiment. Hey, Rebecca. You do not have to pre-register for any of my sales. Maybe, knock wood. I've only been stood up a handful of times. So I usually trust that's going on. Somebody walks away, then I just make sure I just sell it again. So, you do not have to pre-register, but what we'll do is during my sale with Scott, if you haven't sent me an email by the end of the sale, we may end up reselling it. If Scott knows you, it's less of an issue. But if Scott doesn't know you and I don't know you, then yeah, we pretty much want to know who you are. If there's anything that I've shown you here, again, be perfectly honest, I'll sell anything I've just shown, unless I told you it was for me. I'll sell anything. If you make me a good offer, I sold a ton of stuff, and thank you for those of you who reached out. I sold a ton of stuff off my sale, off my live sale or live chat last week, which is why I'm doing it again. So if there's anything that you saw, screenshot it if you can or something, because don't tell me you're interested in one of the tablecloths, because damn, like there's too many. But if you're interested in something, I have more than enough stuff for Scott's sale. I do not need to save anything for Scott's sale. Well, like what I thought was funny was last week I had 20, I think 22 or 23 cookbooks. I bought them specifically so I would have them for Scott's sales. Sold every single one of them. I am not complaining. Like, hey, I got rid of them. I sold them, gave the person a good price because they bought so many of them. I will find other things to sell on Scott's sale. But that was another case. People told me they liked old cookbooks. So I found cookbooks and then I showed them and I sold them all. So, that kind of stuff. So yes, so you can send me pre-register. You don't really have to pre-register in any way, but like a little bit of the honor system. This was another item that I specifically went to the sale to get. Totally, it used to be silver plated. You can see the silver plate still in the bottom. When they polished it, they just never bothered to polish the bottom. So this is what happens to silver when you polish it too much. The base metal comes out. I love this, and I love the fact that it's so beaten down. It's just got a cool design. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for, but I'm definitely keeping this one. And it's got like weird puzzle pieces in there, but like 5 puzzle pieces. So I feel bad if there's some puzzle out there missing those pieces. But if you follow my Instagram, I just started a new experiment with I'm going to be doing sound effects. I'm going to be the Foley artist for a local live radio theater programming. And so I also specifically went to see if I could find, hey, this one's broken. So we've got maraca. We don't have maracas. We only have maraca. Like, that's weird. I didn't realize one of them didn't have anything in it. That could be used for something. And this one, I have not tried it. I should have got my little bacterial wipes, but we will see if I can wipe it down here. I'm hoping you get to hear it here first. It's an actual horn. Let's see what it sounds like. That's not right. Nope, that's even less right. I need to practice. But there was some hornish tone going in there. I thought it looked cool. I don't know what I can use it for as a Foley artist, a dying cow based on what I just did. But, I thought that would be a fun way. And then this I bought for, I seem to have summoned a squirrel. I now have a squirrel staring at me through my glass window. These I got for Raj. They are like shell, what do they call them? Appetizer trays. I gave him some porcelain ones that I had. I think honestly, I think I had in my booth for a while. They were Wedgwood. They were actually really nice, and they never sold. And he likes to entertain, and he has people over. We had just had our 5-month anniversary, and he made me a wonderful meal. But these are like actual. I don't know if they're actual shells or they're compressed shells, but they got the little made in Japan, so I'm assuming they're somehow manufactured. But they look a lot more like shells as opposed to dishes. There you go. Baby elephant sound. That's so the next time somebody does a radio show with a baby elephant, I'm set. Anyway, it's like in its original box, serve shrimp cocktail, deviled crab, etc. The box has a zip code, so they're not like super, super old, but I figured he would like them. And, so those are for him. So he'll get, I'm giving those to him. And that's pretty much everything that I got. So I did not do nearly as much financial damage as I did last time. I think this time I was only like about $120. Last time, what I showed last week was like $200. So I was actually surprised how little it was. But other than other than my box, for anyone who joined in later, this was my favorite purchase. And it was actually one of the things that got me to go there. So still, whether it's bird's eye maple or it's, now I've already forgotten what the other maple was. bird's eye maple. Scott said it was another type of maple. So I need to look up the options. Tiger maple. This box, love that. This was under $20. The two things of linens were expensive, not expensive, but like had real value, and everything else was like $5. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I actually paid up for other than the linens. No, pretty much I think that was the bulk. So pretty happy with it. And it was fun. Like it was, and yesterday was just a weird day if you're in the Midwest. Yesterday some really weird weather went through. And the auction was like partly inside, partly outside. Like some of the farm equipment stuff was obviously on the outside, but then they also had multiple barns. And so you had to move from barn to barn for some of the sales. There were torrential downpours, like biblical levels. So like we were just all trapped inside the main barn, and then it would stop. It's like, okay, let's run outside. So we all running outside. We sell something until it started raining again. Then we all run back inside into one of the other. Like, so it's like, it's fun. I've been there enough. The guy knows me, so he cracks jokes. It's just a fun, it's a fun country auction. Like the biggest difference, if you find auctions locally, I'm sure you can. The biggest difference is if you find them that don't do internet bidding, it's a totally different experience. Because if you go to a live auction that has internet bidding, you can find that the internet is competing against itself, and you're just sitting in the room going, this is boring. Yeah, because no one's participating. Because you might have bid, okay, I'll go up to $20, but then the internet finds it and they're bidding it up to 50, 60, 70, $80, whatever, which is great for the seller and for the auction house. That's fantastic. And as a business person, I love that. But as entertainment value, it gets pretty dull. So when you're in an auction house where the only activity is who's in the room, you get to know. I recognize a lot of the people that were there yesterday. We're not on like first name basis or anything, but the linens, perfect example. The linens, I saw one of the other women. I knew she was after the same linens. So I'm like, woman, you are not getting these. She and I were bidding each other up, and then they do choice. Beth does choices sometimes with her auction items or something she sells. So it's the whole idea. It's like, okay, you paid that. Do you want one lot or do you want as many lots you want? And so I won. I'm like, yep, taking both. And she's like, damn, that's what I wanted. I'm like, I know. It's like we bid each other up, but it was all good spirited. It's all in fun. So the auctions are fun to attend, and you don't have to be a reseller. Tons of the people there were there for their own stuff. Somebody knew the family, and they all wanted something that was specific to the family. So like there were things that I wouldn't have thought would have had a lot of value, like a framed picture of the house. Well, unless you own the house, like it's a cool looking house. I showed you guys earlier, but it's like, or things that had the family name on it. Like somebody paid big bucks for a big enamel, like outdoor sign that was somehow, it might've been an advertising sign too. I'm trying to remember, but then it said Fisher Farms. And the guy paid big bucks for it. And somebody asked him, they're like, what are you going to do with that? He's like, I loved the Fishers. They were such great people. And I just want something that reminds me of their place. That's awesome. So that, and it's cool when some things can go to people like that had a connection, whether friends or even, like I said, at the beginning, even family members were there to bid. Like whatever the reason, that's cool that you could do that. But then there are people like us that are like, you know what? I bought a couple, like that box. That's not going anywhere. I'm keeping that. The shell things, hopefully Raj will want to use those. Like some of the stuff I'm keeping for myself, but a lot of it, I am going to resell it. Hey, put the right stuff in the right home. All right. I've been rambling on enough, and finished up earlier this time. So again, Beth is hosting with Dolores, at the top of the hour. So in 42 minutes, she will be hosting on the Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties YouTube channel. She is going to be doing a live chat and a live haul specifically for jewelry. And one of the things that she does, and I want to specifically promote this, if you don't know Beth's channel, you don't know Dolores, first of all, they're both lovely people. But when they do the live haul and chat, some of what they're doing is they're pricing the items. If you buy something during her haul, she donates that money to charity. I want to say it's called Lunches of Love, if I remember correctly, something like that, to buy lunches for financially disadvantaged families at school lunches so 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, 41 minutes. So it's a great time. You can join. They're fun people, fun chat. I've learned stuff about jewelry. I have so much more to learn. So it's a fun thing. But if you do see something you like, they're setting the prices, not specifically to sell it. She'll eventually sell it either in her booth or someplace else. But if you do buy something, she commits that if you buy during the haul, whatever they've agreed to sell it for, that money will go to charity. So you're going to get a cool piece of jewelry and you're going to be supporting a great charity. So check that out. And then also Thursday, the 22nd is the next drop, the Huckster Hop this month by the Drake's Lead drop sale video, which is going to include Beth, Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties, Dee from Thrill the Thrift, Vinny from Vintage Vinny's, and myself. We will be dropping videos every half an hour. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, there will be a live version, which we will be highlighting items that were in the video that had not sold yet. So catch the videos first because it's still going to be first come, first serve. But anything that did not sell during their video claims, Beth and I will live promoting, and we will promote on the behalf of Vinny and Dee. We will promote some of their items as well. So make sure you join us there, and we shall see what I'll be doing in the future. But appreciate everyone. Oh, $900 donated so far for lunches of love. She dropped the link to the charity. So already $900. That's fantastic, Beth. I think it's great that you do that. So thanks so much. Make sure you hop over here at the top of the hour, and thanks for joining this video. Thanks for your time. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.